Hello everyone, welcome back. This time from the US. We're checking out some E-Types at some car dealers, but also some private people. It is not only E-Types, there will be some other cars as well, but stay tuned, you will see. So we are here in St. Louis, and we're actually here at It's Alive Automotive. As Jill said, his wife said, this is Walt Disney for me here. Yeah. And I think, she's right. And I think she's right. And this is Jeff. Jeff is taking us around on a quick tour, because our task is actually to have a look at one of your favorite cars you're looking to buy. It's a white Roadster, I think. Correct. But this is an amazing, I've never seen so many classic cars in one place. Wow, 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 wow.
So we
crazy stuff.
4 XKEs in full restoration.
Wow.
They've all been cut in half, and then the floors were built up on our jig. What's the noise?
Air pressure.
What is it?
So this is a proper classic car workshop, and I have to say I've never seen that many cars, classic cars, in a workshop. This is crazy.
So here are the 4 in restoration. We keep this. This came off. This was an unmolested Series 1. We took this off, and it's on a jig, and we roll it around so the guys know exactly how everything goes back together.
Yeah, perfect.
And when we find it, like people always say, "Oh, this isn't right."
This is screws and everything. It
is right.
This is all right. So they're using this as the front engine frames.
It's a model.
They're using that as a pattern to tell people how things get back on.
And then these cars were all cut in half. We removed the front. We remove the rear, we fabricate the floors, and then the front and the rear of the car are then reassembled. Everything's spot welded together with a hydraulic spot welding tool. Then we paint the underside of the car and the subframes, and then we assemble it, install the bonnet and the doors, and then finally, with the bonnet and the doors installed, we weld on the outer sills. And they have to be welded on last, because you have to get perfect panel fit with the doors, and all the latching assemblies and everything are in the car when we're done. And only then does the car go back to paint. So the bottom's already been painted, the subfloor's been painted. It's all been cut in, but then it's all fully assembled and painted as one unit. And then it comes to here, and each car has its own bin, and their locations on the bin. We're having signs made where it says things like steering, suspension, IRS, brakes, hydraulics, wiring, gauges. So we do all 4 at one time. And then it just saves us a lot of money. The 4th one is actually over in the body shop. The other thing, the last thing we do is put the engine in and then the interior.
So that is the engine for the blue one.
This is the engine for the green one, and then that's the engine for the blue one. That's about to come back on. I just boiled out the carburetors. I didn't disassemble them yet because I was trying my new sonic cleaner out. It's a real big one. It'll take all 3 at the same time. And here we do the IRSs. And then that's me rebuilding transmissions and overdrive.
You do that.
Yeah. But this is nice because when we put these engines back in, they've been fully broken in, they've been run, all oil leaks are addressed. We used to bring the engines in from the bottom.
Yeah,
always.
No scratches.
But now we use the forklift and bring them in from the top because we don't want to touch anything when we're done. We want it to be, it's, you know, the carburetor, everything's done just the way it is. We've set all the gaps. Everything's
is that
just
the gearbox? What gearbox is that?
Yeah, it's all Tremec transmission.
Okay.
We always put a 5-speed in.
Okay.
I mean, it's very rare we put the Moss box back in, or the standard transmission. But this works
your maximum speed is 75 miles or 70.
Yeah.
So
yeah, well, on the XK 120 we just did, I'll show you next door. On that car, a USI Italia downdraft heated paint booth. That's a 1.5 million BTU burner.
Oh yeah.
And it can be 5 degrees out, and we're painting at 80. Yeah. So it's bringing in 5-degree air. It turns it to 80. It's incredibly well controlled.
It's perfect.
Yeah, it really, really works well.
Okay.
This is where, so this front was cut off the rear. Yeah, so this was sitting by itself, the rear was sitting by itself. We fabricated the floors. So we get the floor assemblies from like Martin Roby. We get our outer sills from Chuck Hadley. We actually, you'll see an XK next door. It's a coupe that I bought from Hadley. I paid $55,000 for it because it just come out of his jig.
Yeah.
So we use that as the model.
Okay.
And that's how we built this jig. And we've done 6 of them in the jig now, and every one of them's turned out perfect. We always use the doors as the final check to make sure we don't have anything odd on it. But these cars come in a mess. This car I actually bought, and I paid 25 grand for it. It was very rusty, but oh yeah, but it's when we're done, it'll be we'll have new fenders. This will all be cut out. This is all goofy stuff. But again, we don't put the outer sill on until the doors
If you're shopping for a pre-owned vehicle that compares to the selection and honesty, you only receive at St. Paul GM Country. Hi, this is Tiffany, St. Paul Shark. For those certified pre-owned.
So this here is a special reinforcement what is recommended for all the OTS now, and I think this is one of Chuck's invention. So that is one, and I've seen another reinforcement here in the rear for between the rear bulkhead. So that's something to make the car stiffer. Do you see the frames?
Yeah, those subframes. And like on this subframe here, as you know, the numbers are important.
Yeah, that's the one for that car. This Series 2.
Yeah, this one. Well, I actually don't remember. I think this is for the Series 2.
Yeah, 1R.
But I'll probably replace this.
Yeah.
Hadley has stamps.
Yeah.
This is one we had 4 years ago.
This one, have you restored that?
Front oil seal on it.
Is that for maintenance or is that the restoration?
No, it's in for maintenance. We painted it without doing anything else.
Okay.
I don't remember what color the car was, but we changed the color. He drives the crap out of it. He loves the car. And
so they are reliable.
Oh yeah,
they can be used.
I tell people, I say, if you drive it, you won't have any trouble with it. The problem is when you run a mistake. We sell them like that all the time. I really do. I get where you're coming from. And so he brought it to us, and it had been sitting now for about 3 or 4 years. The cylinders were open, and they were filled with mouse poop and rust. And this is a rebuilt motor. We got it all running well. The paint's really a mess. All the brakes are shot. But
No, exactly. It's a quick paint.
It runs well now. We don't have brakes and we don't have a clutch. And he's real happy that he's going to be back on the road soon.
Okay, so here we are still at It's Alive, and this is the new future owner.
Future owner, currently operations director, 27 years old. I've been doing this for about...
So wait, what? You are 27 years old?
27
Only,
years old.
did you get that? Did you get that? 27 years old.
127.
And that is something, that's a newcomer, I would say, but still already in business. And when we see the showroom, and how did you get there? Did you start with your dad, or?
Well, I started, no, actually none of my family was into cars.
Classic cars, no.
I just started doing it about 8 years ago, and then just leaps and bounds later, here we are.
Wow, great compliment and good luck. And when we see the showroom here, it is all shiny chrome and paintwork, and is what she said is Disney World for me. Of course, when I see classic cars, I always get emotional, and well, it's a great job. Here I see MGs and Triumphs and some Jaguars.
A couple XKs over there.
Mainly British cars.
Absolutely.
Well, in the workshop, I've seen
there's a few American cars out there, but
the future, as you say, is there a huge interest in British cars?
The future, we want to shift more to solely British, post-war British sports cars, and wean out some of the American muscle and be more selective. Mainly focusing on the E types.
Yeah, that's the most beautiful car in the world. Absolutely. Yeah, perfect. Thank you very much. Huh?
Yep.
So here we have something really rare. Jeff, you said this is a two-owner car, and still in its original paint, and still original interior.
Original interior, and most amazingly, it even has the original spare tire.
Oh, great. So this is the original interior, you can tell.
Yeah, look at the dash. Still runs like it's new.
So that's a good thing about original unmolested cars. They come from the factory, and they still work as
now look at
first
this.
day.
The original spare tire, or the tire pump, is in the car.
You see this? Wow.
Side
wow,
curtains.
You see that? There's your original pump. That is something for the enthusiasts.
And that is the original spare tire that came with the car.
And that's the original toolkit?
Toolkit, everything.
Is that the one?
That is.
Jeff, could you open that?
No, I could. I don't have it.
That is something you only see
Maybe
maybe once in your life. That original XK 120 toolkit.
We're going to have to be very careful. Try not to tear it.
So our guy Richard Kirkland, I think he is into XKs and he will love that. Wow, yeah, that's
probably missing a couple
missing
pieces.
a few things, but this is really rare. So these are the short ones, Snail brand, yeah, and this is original.
Oh,
a
yeah,
few
look
things
at
are missing,
yeah,
but it's still great.
The leather
great
on
condition.
it is where'd that strap go? I mean, that's what makes me nervous. Is the
Yeah,
strap is like,
don't pull it too much or too.
But
often.
it's very the car is.
Yeah, I might have the missing bits, but there is the other. There is the jack, the original lifting jack. Ah, that is rare. So how much is this car then?
160.
160.
Yeah,
the way
because
it is.
you know, I tell people like my vet out there.
Yeah.
I can't make this car.
That's it.
I
That's
mean,
it,
I can't make it. It's one of a kind.
That's it. This is one of a kind.
Yeah,
and you
this
can have
this car
20
is,
restored ones and you will never get it back in this condition.
It just runs and drives like it's new. It's unbelievable. And you know, the one thing Mike had, who I bought it from, he's a friend of mine. Oh, by the way, I'll tell you another story. So I had the Jaguar Club here, and I came out, had big no touch sign, do not touch sign on it. And they all left. We had food and so on. It was a tech session. And I came out, and the pull handles, this one was hanging. And I've always told my guys, don't touch, you know, so always use the metal.
What I really like.
Yeah. Oh, God. I knew you'd love this car.
They don't have to be perfect. I just love this. I mean,
Yeah.
if you park with this car in front of a restaurant or somewhere else, they will instantly recognize this is something unique.
Yeah, it's very, very, very cool car.
This should be driven.
Yeah, no, I know. And we used to drive it all the time.
So what number is it? Yep. You got it. Yeah, perfect. Lovely, lovely.
Yeah, the guys
Very
really
rare
put it
to
up
see
because
these things.
when we're working on XKs, they want to know how much time that takes.
Oh.
You know, like I just, and you look at it a million times and you might change it and you question what you did, but we're getting those pictures I showed you.
This one is my favorite, the one on the left.
Yeah, the Duesenberg.
I love the picture.
And you know, so we put stickers on them as to where they're going to go.
Yeah.
A lot of them are customer cars and they've abandoned. And this car, dyno tuned, 5-speed Tremec, chrome wire wheels, all new leather interior, everything. The guy's got well over 200,000 in it, and we did about 20,000 of it.
So this is
a
a Jaguar
40.
storage,
And it's just super.
and just going through a few cars here. This is a Paradise. This is of course a Paradise, and so there are more cars out here than I ever thought. Really, this car looks interesting. This is something what strikes me straight away. This is an odd color. These are strange colors, really. It's not something I really like because it is kind of customized, and you see here the yellow dash and stuff. It's a mixture of everything. It's not something I really like. Paint is a bit weird.
Wow. But anyway, she said she's never using it, so she wants to sell it. That's an automatic. But it's a really solid car.
Oh gosh, we had the same blanket when I was little. That's a most.
So this one, look at this. You want to see something really unusual?
This one.
Yeah, look at the air. Look at the back of the car. Get down here and look at the back of the car. Down below. You've never seen anything like that.
Oh, what's that? Oh, whoa, whoa.
What do you
whoa,
think
whoa.
that is? You have to figure it out.
Is that?
Look in the very
Is
back.
it air conditioner? Or is it?
It's the air conditioning condenser
Okay.
coils.
Wow.
They put them in the back of the car. They look like
Yeah.
jet engines.
Yeah. But is that something?
See, can you see back here? There's the fins coming. That's where the air comes out.
There.
Isn't that cool?
That is, yeah.
And
is
if
it,
you look at the
is that a
inside of it-
unique part, or is that was that?
Never seen it before. Look inside
I've never seen
the
that
car.
before, and
It's the AC is sitting in the middle center console.
yeah,
That's
that
where the
I've seen. That
evaporator
I've seen before, and also from there, it's coming from there. But
I've never seen that. You have seen that.
Yeah, from there and from there, from the rear, at the bottom. But I have seen nozzles in there, but maybe
Isn't that
operated.
cool, though?
Yeah, yeah. But I have seen other things. They had water houses running through the seats,
Oh, really?
and to
oh,
cool
really?
the seats down, and it was cooled down from just from the air. but it was kind of modified or self-made air conditioned. But this is a nice car to restore then.
Oh yeah, it's a great car. I love it. It's super solid.
So is that a 63 or?
I think it's a 63.
Looks like, yeah. Where do you find these cars?
That's a 62. People just call me.
And
If they know, that's what we do.
Yeah.
This, I'll show you. I'll give you a good example up here of the difference, so you can see Angela.
Who's painting? Are they?
Mallory. Okay. I'm so sorry. I got Angela stuck in my head.
I like this paint.
So let me just. I'll step you through the differences. So you start with a Series 2's got a wide mouth.
Yes.
And a Series 1 it has a very narrow mouth, much smaller.
Yes.
And then on a Series 2 you have the uncovered headlights.
Yes.
And a Series 1 you have covered headlights.
Yes.
On a Series 1 you're going to have the tri-carb. And that's going to be SUs. And on a Series 2 they're going to be 2 carburetors, and those are Strombergs. And then what people really like on a Series 1, it's going to have the rockers.
That's typical of this paint. You see them pretty
like
often.
this.
So, but what you see here is, and that is what I want to show. This is the original, and you can tell. So all this interior, the alloy dash here, this is the original, and you see between the dots, the space is dull, is satinated. And on the modern ones, you know, the reproductions, you have larger spots, and they are the same. There's no difference in shine. And this is original. This is original. So that is really nice. This is original, and you can tell because the slow here has the same width. Yeah. So this is the original Legend, and you can see this the slow has the same width than the fan. Aftermarket, the slow is a lot larger. Don't know why, but that's so easy to identify. It has the original horn push, and that's what I said yesterday. So the ears are on the black, and the gold is deep gold. So this is all original, and that is
the seats are not.
They're not.
He recovered them right before I bought the car.
And this is original.
Yeah,
with the three steps. You have the 1, 2, 3. Later cars you only have 2 on
right.
here, and that is something. Well, you don't get these made by anyone anymore. Either you have them with the car, or you have to have someone who sold the car forgot it. So the seats, obviously, and you see the seats are the steep ones.
I don't know.
The inclination is steeper. It's only 10 degrees, and you will see on other cars it has kind of, you know, bent here and has 20 degrees. And you see here, this behind the seat, this is straight, where the other car we have seen had that recess. And that is something, when you push it, you can see it from the other side. You see here it's all straight.
Right.
And that's why you can't move the seat so far back. And that is what they made a lot of changes in the very first year. Further seat inclination on the backrest, the recess, and then with the flat floor you got a lot more space.
This one has no space.
Yeah, this is the only 61 we have.
This one here.
I love this too.
Yeah. Yeah, when you get a car, sometimes it's tough to decide what you want to refinish. It really is.
And I would say it's hard because maybe sometimes the cars, I bought a car, 61 car, and they replaced the dashboard, the desktop. And I said, why? Yeah, it was wrinkled. Yeah, but then the early desktop is unique. It's not, they have the sharp corners. This is the later one, and the early one is a bit, I don't care if it has a creep here or something.
Right.
But it ruined everything. And I said, why did you change that? Yeah, you know, when people come in, they look with their eyes.
Well, that's like my guys, when they took the pictures of this car, they put a different boot cover on it, and I said, I love that.
Yeah, that's what it is. Like the XK 120, you can't get any better than this. So the bonnet has been replaced, or?
No, it's welded on the bottom. Someone, when it was painted, it was just, you'll see. It is welded. It was not a side mount. At least I don't think it's the States. And it's this main guy owns a shop in Nashville, Tennessee called Antique Archaeology. Things, and the whole video is about their interaction. Your light. That's what I'll give you 300. You know, that kind of thing. And drove down there and saw the car and checked it all out and bought it. And he during those months, whenever he would be on the show, I'd take pictures of my TV and text it to him. And he's a character. But anyway, that's who I bought it from. And I actually never met him there when I went down to buy it. I never met him in person because when I was there, he wasn't there. He just gave me the key to his, or little lockbox to his garage. But yeah, do you see anything that doesn't look right on it? I mean, I'm sure there are things that aren't, but
it has a lot of original parts on it, but the paint looks like new.
Oh, the paint's definitely been repainted. I mean, you can tell by the bonnet.
Yeah.
It was. I don't think we ever advertised it as original.
And then it's just what did they do to the body? If there were any issues with the body and
yeah, and we did not do it. I honestly don't know. I know the floors look really good though, Michael. Yeah, because I looked at them there, and then we've had it up in the air, and that's never been an issue. I'm going to scoot by you so you can get some room.
Yeah. Can we see the fuel filter? Is that?
Yeah, I think
is it full or can you open? Yeah, fuel is a second filter in here. The oil.
And I went to see him in
the oil.
Yes.
I've seen that.
It was water from another.
Hello everyone, here we are in the States on Long Island near to New York, and we are here at Autosport. We're checking out some E-Types here for a friend of mine. They're looking for a blue Opalescent blue E-Type 62, and I've discovered a few other things you are certainly interested in, and I'm blown away by what cars they have here. So let's have a look inside what they have. So and here we are at Autosport. This is the address, and now follow me, you will be blown away. I've seen something. Wow, look at that. Some Ferraris here, and there, you don't see it yet, but it will come now. That is my preferred car. That's an XK SS, and that's the one Steve McQueen has driven. And that is, I can't even tell if that is a replica or is that an original. I think these are so rare, so I would assume this is a replica, but if it is really well done. So we tried to get a tour with one of these guys here, and they will explain us a bit more. But look how lovely this car is. Has no price on here, but how often do you see one of these? Well, this is the car to enjoy really on the streets. So this all lovely cars here. This is a DB. This is a very nice Ferrari. So that's a 250 GT, 57 with a low roof. And that really looks really nice. I love the paint. The paint is fantastic. And here's another one, a 250 GT Cabriolet. Again, this is in spectacular condition. See the chrome work. Fantastic cars, look at that. Immaculate, I would say, flawless. I think it can't get any better than this. Maybe only the XK S. Look at the chrome work. That's a smart idea with the weight here, so that is really nice. Haven't seen that.
Continue our tour, anyway?
Yeah,
Anyway, so our showroom cars are all available cars.
Could I ask you to introduce yourself?
Yeah, my name is Gary Elias from Autosport Designs.
Yeah.
I'm the sales manager here.
Thank you for welcoming us. We can't wait learning about your cars here.
Oh, more than happy. Well, come on, let me walk in.
Yeah, let's go through.
The majority of our cars upstairs here are either for service or storage. However, the cars you see in this immediate area that are not covered are available and is part of our available inventory.
Okay, wow, look at that.
Service department, we have about a half a dozen full-time techs.
Wow.
Working on anything from
It's packed in here.
pre-work cars up to new Lotuses. We're loaded. All the sales cars used to be downstairs, or rather we had a mix of them upstairs and downstairs, and all the storage vehicles were downstairs.
So those cars covered are customer cars, or what?
Those cars covered are either, they're either here for service or for storage.
Okay.
So they're we'll say 95% of them.
Yeah, okay.
Bring you guys downstairs where all the...
Well, this is something...
And then you're welcome to come up and video anywhere you'd like.
Okay. What about that Ferrari up there?
The little one?
That catches my interest.
It's a junior car, yeah.
That's what?
It's a junior car. It's not a...
Okay.
not a real, it's not a
Uh-huh.
street legal car. Yeah, they sell those junior cars or half-scale cars.
Yeah, not in
Oh,
Germany.
you don't get them over
Not in
there?
Germany. No, no. They have to be approved and certified and everything, but I know...
Well, it's not road, it's not legal for the road.
Okay, yeah, okay. So, anyways, it's okay, yeah. So where do you drive it?
You know, I have never personally had one. So I think people drive it on private grounds and private gated communities.
Yeah. But it looks
those
great.
who have
Looks great.
The fortunate
Space and
wherewithals to drive on their own property. Which car, sir?
The first blue one.
The first blue one is the Super Performance Cobra.
Cobra.
The light blue one right here?
Yes.
Yeah, that's a Super Performance replica Cobra.
So this one is sold to a lucky new owner. It's a DB4, awesome. Awesome, again, this is kind of a polished dark green with beige interior. That's something which was, I think, very desired in these days. This is a 57 car.
Happens to be a nice one. See a wide degree of bearing through restoration work, history. That's something with all the documentation from early history. And it's left-hand drive, it's separate one here. But then you have some of the arguments that are just a nice thing. Some of them are fetched just as much.
So that's a 9060 Aston Martin. Okay, let's see what's in here. More cars, wow.
So,
Wow, some supercars.
Combination here of cars that are available and cars that have been sold. You see the new Lotuses right here. These are all new Lotus Emiras, which are just arriving.
Okay.
And will be going out just as quick as they came in. Yeah, they're cool. They're all sold. We've been actually selling these for close to 3
This
years.
room is
They're
packed.
starting to come in. So it's quite a blessing, really. Yeah, isn't everybody? Corvettes, everybody's, you know, adopting that look. So, opalescent blue E Type. This is probably one of the nicest ones.
There it
Great
is.
color. You are more than welcome to make yourselves at home, go through it. They'll be here.
And here is the one, the
Great
object
color.
of desire. And we're going to inspect this one. And it's looking really nice. And we will go through it. And in the end, it goes into our evaluation. Chassis number is 87739.
877-539.
539, yep. So there, and here's the engine number, and that is the same as here on the plate. So there's the engine number we have seen. We can't verify the gearbox, and there's the 877-539 is the VIN. Well, that looks pretty nice. It has a 62 wiper motor, so that could be, but it's a June 66.
It's only a 2 one.
Yes, that changed in
62.
in November 61.
November 61.
They changed the triple to the double. And I like to see this here. This is brass underneath, and you see these are the originals with a 0 marking on top here. And after time they become gold, so they lose the plating, and when you screw and open it, then this comes off. So they have the rear here, the correct text here, and I see there down there now the correct starter motor, still the original one. That is nice to see. So can we see the date? Let's see if we can see the date down there. Yes. Could be 1162, can't reach that, but there's 11 for the month. It should be 1161. that starter motor, probably 1161. But we have the tags here. That is nice. I like to see this. These ones, the linkages here, these ones, they are in the original color. So that's pretty good. There's one thing which isn't correct. So this outlet here should be on the corner, and then this should go straight. And that might have to be changed because the inside of those header tanks are a bit different. And here you compensate with a convoluted hose. You compensate the extension of the water, but that needs to be verified. But maybe that is already done. So the Girling shock absorbers in the correct color shade there, with the sticker on there. These ones are the early upper wishbones. A period correct looking radiator, and they have, it looks like they have the Cool Cat cooling fan motor, like the other car we've seen. That is the one I always recommend. So it's a lot of original parts on here, really.
Yes, it's a full restoration.
Is that the original one as well?
This one, I don't know exactly when they changed it, but it is an original one. So this is actually used to fill the mixture of anti-freezing with the water.
For the windshield.
For the windshield, yep.
It was long-term owned by a classic British car producer.
Yeah, and it seems that even this here, the vinyl, here is the early one, the original one. Seems to have a lot of original features in here. The dash legend and the gear knob is still the original one. We can see here the horn push, which is still the original one. The steering wheel is the original one. So a lot of things, and it even has the sticker. I don't know if that is the factory one on the Speedo. That looks pretty nice. Nice to see the slotted screws here. Very often they are Phillips. Like to see the original screws here.
They call it ready for immediate use and enjoyment. We had it, and then it was sold to somebody locally.
So this is the original one. That's new one, huh? That's nice. This is Pennsylvania. Yeah. So, and here we are. We are in Malvern, Pennsylvania. And look at that. This is an original 67 4.2 car, and it's one of the very first which has the open headlights. So it is still the 4.2 Series 1 4.2. Everything is just as the early 4.2s. It only has the open headlights. It has a toggle switch, it has 3 carbs, but most of all it still has the original interior. This car has never been restored. And what you see here is something I have never seen. This seems to be the original air condition. And that car was made, I think, in April '67. So this is all still the original stuff. And this gentleman who owns them, he has another car, Roadster, and I had that in another video of that. He's ready for selling the other one. He has too many cars, as you've seen. And well, I've been driving this car. I've been around with a spin, and it drives so smoothly. It is so soft. It's just driven in, and it is perfect. It shifts perfectly. It brakes perfectly, and the power is coming from the low revs. Has a great sound. I think it still has a mild steel exhaust, and that is what we want. Just a pleasure to drive. Today it's a bit chilly. We have 15 degrees, and the heating is working. So I was about could go on for all day, but sadly I have to go on. And so I have spent a few days here in the States. I have been a guest here at Ted's home, and such a nice, gentle host, a super host, I would say. We've been out to a restaurant yesterday, had a couple of beers in a saloon, and now we're here back with our professional assistant, William. Say hello.
Hello.
So this is the future driver of this car. He's just too young now, but what we will do, we get the engine started, yeah, and I'm trying to record that and see how the engine starts. So if you just be so kind and start the engine. Wow, that's great. You see how silent, how smooth that is? That's what I love. Can you accelerate a bit? That's what we want to hear, yeah. Such a deep, solid sound. That's good, thank you very much. Thank you, William. It was excellent.
Thank you.
Thank you. So this is again a very early car, and you see this is number 439, and this one already has the double cooling fans from the later one. And you see down there that mesh, it's stone guard for the cooler, for the radiator. That actually is further in, and a little bit further up you see the holes for the earlier style. So with this radiator they had to move the mesh, the stone guard, further into the bonnet, and that's why they had to cut the on top there in the bow. They had to cut the frame and re-weld it in a shorter width. So that is what I figured out the other day. So you see there on the sides there, and on the right hand side you see the holes about 10 centimeters further towards the driver, further in. That is where the early meshes were mounted. And this one, so early in 67 they changed the radiator, and that's when they had to change the mesh going further in. And don't mix them up. You need to be aware that there are two different types of mesh stone guards for the radiators. And there you see the mounting for the expansion tank, for the cooling water expansion tank, that's mounted on the bulkhead. Now let me see the thickness of this one, because this is not an Opalescent car. So let me see the thickness of this one. This is 116, and on here so this is 90, 80. On the engine, on the picture frame is 84. So that is interesting. I think this car had air condition, but has been removed because it didn't work anymore. So he removed it. But all the rest is just as original as it can be. What do we have here? It's a GKN S rated. They're the GKN S rated, These ones on the side here, these are rubbery owen. They are ROS rated. Again, here you see the pop rivets for the rubber, and these are all rubbery owen S rated, just for the records. So compared to the roadster, the early roadster door, this is completely different. This is covered here to make it look more saloon. Original 49,000 miles. That's original. And you see, this is, even though it has the open headlights, it still has the toggle switches. It has the original dash legend. Everything here is factory. And interesting here, the ashtray, because there was no space here because they had the air conditioner here, so they had started to move the ashtray down there, and then they kept it regardless if they had air conditioner or not. Interior, the rear, that is how it looks when it's all from the factory. You need to give that a little cleaner polish and it's all perfect. So the headliner is beige with a red interior. Sometimes I find them in grey, but this one is beige. So what else you want me to tell you? Tuck. That's it. Perfect. And the same here. Let me see this, if I can get this here on. How the bumpers fit. Can I get that in here? You see how neat the bumpers are here? But here you see, oh, that's the difference here. Here you can access the bumpers from the outside, where on the 3.8 you had to access the bumpers only from the inside. This is the same thing here. This is to access the bumper. But you see how close this is here? And this is interesting as well. Some people are asking, you see this one here? The flange here is on the outside and not on the inside, and this one here is also a little gap, and you can see that also from the inside of the trunk. So this is not totally flat, and there's a little gap they had to fill, but that is how they are. And the same is here again, because I know some people argue why should that be, but that is really rough welding here, but that's just how they are. Original Lucas lights. Yep. What else you want me to tell? These are things you probably only find in the US, and so I've been driving this one today, and it's awesome. It's awesome. I don't care how it looks in the inside, but that is it is a totally different story to drive an unmolested, unrestored car. You see this here, the seals. It just gives you that little bit of extra feeling to be someone special, being allowed to drive such an old lady on today's road. And it works, it works. now we're looking for the other car he's ready to sell. This one is a totally unrestored 63, early 63 OTS, and the good thing is this is still the original paint. And how do I know? Well, I have a measurement here, and let me see what it says. You see that? It's 130 microns, 105, 83. So who has a car with less paint on it? This is something you really never ever see. And there was another thing I will show you in a bit. So 120. So this is how the original paint was. And remember, this is an opalescent silver grey car. So look at that. Instruments are working fine. The ref counter is working. The brake light is working. The dash, here you see the original crosshatch dash. It has the original legend. Sadly that side is broken, but all the rest is still as it came out of the factory. You see, this is the original crosshatch center console. You see that pattern here? And it goes all the way up the radio console. This is the original stuff. The instruments are working fine. It doesn't overheat. I've been driving this car yesterday. I was here with a gentleman from Florida. I brought him to the airport in this car, so that was about maybe 50-60 miles. It was such a pleasure. So you might say, well, I can see some shades and everything in the paint, and it has been buffed up or blended in, but that is what I like about this car. It has, you know, see from polishing here, so someone has been polishing the chrome, and it was always also polishing down here, so that is where it lost a bit of the original clear coat maybe. And there's something I really love to see. You see this area here, and you know what that is? When you push down the bonnet to lock it, you always press down here, and that is actually the handprint. So that is, these are the fingers, and this is this side of your hand. So you always push it down here, and I mean, this is the proof. And let's see the thickness. So here's 60, here we have 66, 53, and I think you can't get less paint than this. So that is, and the other 65, so it's going on a bit more, 130. So you can be sure this is where this panel is fitted in. So you have some lead here. You see that, how thin that is? 95, 93, 200. That's where the lead starts for the side panels, and you will see the same down here. 108, and a bit further down should be a bit more. 116, 900. That is where the part is leaded to. 300, and this is just. And what you see here, initially, I have to admit, I was thinking this is here. You see these signs here? This, I was initially thinking it could start corrosion, but then we verified, and this is the spot welds. You can feel it's going down, it's a recess. And these are the spot welds. And that tells you this is a spot welds from the inside. I will show you a bit later. So, it came off from polishing probably here, that they took off the paint, and you have these on the other side as well. I will show you. You see that here? It's hard to show because we have the reflections. So we have the one spot. One is here. You see that? That's a typical spot weld sign, and there's another one next to it. And you find that line here coming down. Sadly, you feel it's a recess. It's not up. It's not a bubble. Let me try to zoom it in. So there's one spot. That one there. And this is buffed off from polishing. You see, it's got thin, but not through. I show you, this is the areas where people like to polish more and more because it's a convenient place to. So let's go here on this side. That's 38, but here where it's all polishing, you see that? They polished the clear coat off, and that far here it was just a convenient place to polish. And this is the spot welds. The spot welds you will see here on this side. The spot welds are here to hold this. This is spot welded in here, and this is where you see on the other side those holes or recesses, and all the rest you see here is unmolested. This has never been apart. It still has the original brake master cylinders with the original tag. It has the original dynamo, and everything what isn't on the car and you think is installed later comes in the boxes. So let's see here what we have here. Yes, a 5-speed gearbox in it, but this is the original. This is the original gearbox, and it says 9061. Here's the original flywheel, and I checked it has the correct number on here. And here the engine has been rebuilt, and we have the old pistons and the original brake calipers, and that is what you want. And let's see, that is what you want. So here you see the original, and that's sideways. It's pointing sideways, and initially I was thinking this design was only on the very early cars, but you also see this one is a 63, a very early 60, late 62. They still have that pointed sideways. You have the original deep recess, very good condition, original wire wheels with the original knockoffs. The original seals, they're all worn out. They're all the original seals here. They are totally brittle, but well, it's the thing, you're replacing it or not. And so we are wondering if these seats are still the originals. Ted said they had been covered with the seat cover, and that's why they still look so good. And we might actually think these might be originals, but let's get the cushion out here. And here we see the seats. This looks old still. I don't know if anybody painted this, but nobody restored the car. It has never been painted. And you might be wondering what these screws are for, and these are actually, there's a bracket underneath that allows you for not moving or bending this one. That's off missing this bracket, and this all looks very much original to me. It is the original paint. The carpet here is the original. You see that? And I don't think this has ever been painted. That looks all really good. We check the floors. The vinyl is still the original. It has the original seat runners. So there's nothing I could really find which isn't original. Okay, we've seen the cover, the hood here for the soft top. That is the one with the 3 straps. 1, 2, 3. It is worn, and you have, of course, some wear. We checked out the soft top, and it has some holes from folding up and down and from the age. And being in this position for 60 years probably, it does show. I think the seats have been upholstered. It is all done very, very well. Let me see the boot. And there you see, wow, there you see there's a tool roll, and that looks original. And there's the original jack. That is original. There's a hammer in here. That is the original one. So for me, if you see all these things still together, that means the car has been maintained all the time in its life, and that is a correct one, the early one here. And this one even says patent applied for. So that's a 62 car. So I wonder how long these were supplied. But it's all there, and that is how careful people were looking after these cars. And I have to say, the only unrestored OTS I found was the one in the Netherlands, the red one, and that is something very similar to it. And I know the price for these ones are around 150,000, depends on how good the tires are. With this one, you actually have a 5-speed gearbox, but as I said, you get the original with the car, and you can always build it back. And the good thing is I kept it. We see what we see here, just for the records, for the other restorers. So that's 63, and these are GKN RUNF. So on late 62 they still had GKN. Same here, and they have been painted over. So that's GKN R rated. This is you see this? This has a kind of grate on top. It's not totally round, and you can feel it because these are 2 halves welded together, and you can see this is kind of a grate. And you see it's breaking the line really. And the fitting, let's go under the bumper and see how neat that fits. You see how close the bumpers? How close the bumpers are fitted to the body? I mean, this line here, how narrow that is. Sometimes I see cars where you can put your hand in there, and this is only factory like. This, on very many restored cars, you don't have that. Let me see the other side. It is the same. You see how close that is? You don't even get a rubber seal in between there. And that is something. You have the spot welds here, that line there. Everything as you want it to be. So as I said, I have been driving this car yesterday about 60 miles from Malvern to the airport in Pennsylvania, and it was driving nicely, no issues. It's just when you go on the over bridges you feel a bit of shaking, but that is a normal OTS thing. And well, what shall I say? I'm blown away. You don't get a more original E-Type, and you have the dilemma. So you have some chips here in the front, stone chips, and here as well, maybe branch dropped on it or something else. So you have the dilemma. What do? You give it a new paint job, and you ruin the originality, which is unique. You only can get that once. Or you keep it as is and you're living with the original aging, like these bits here. This is something I really like. I mean, how often do you need to open the bonnet to get this here? And then of course here you see these ones here. Now you can see that with a shade. You see these are spot welds all the way. You can feel it. They're going inside and not outside. I have seen these on the welded louvers. They had these spot welds around here, and I've seen these spot welds on other cars, on early cars. They had that down here. Not sure if this one has that, but if you would start polishing here, you would see a line of spot welds. Ah, here it is. Actually, here it is. You can feel the spot welds. You see that? You can see them here. You see that? These are the spot welds for the sill. Really good now. So this line, this is not corrosion here. This is spot welds. Try to get this line down here. Yeah, you see that here now. These are the spot welds. Can I get any closer? So if you want to have an original car, you need to get these spot welds visible, and that is kind of the same as on the trunk. You see one here, there. Wow. So this is one of the most original and probably one of the best maintained bodyworks and paint I've ever seen. So here you see the rear, the doors, the door skin. This is all crisp here. So and here we see the original regulator. There's a number 30. That's the original casing. This bit I've seen on other cars, but not on this position, but further up the coil. So here we see the period correct. This will be to be replaced. This is a bit loose here. That's from the heat. This is all the original paint in here. This is got new brakes on here, but I've said that you get the original ones are coming with the car. They're in boxes, and he put some extra flexible brake hoses on there. There the bracket is missing, the bonnet support, the balancing bracket is missing. That's still the original header tank. So if you maintain this, and here is interesting from the records, this one here is a B's 45 R55, and you see these, they were black, and here in the corner these are all B's. So they were not consistent in the brand. So this is B's, and we had on the trunk lid we had GKN. So there's B's, and here is again it's GKN. So it is not consistent throughout one car, and they used what they had. And some people are asking me what the color of the screws down there, and I think they were just black with an oblong shim or washer. that nut, and we've seen on the other car the other on the 67 they were further in that nut. Well, I don't think you get anything more original than this. And let's go on the other side. It's incredible. It's incredible. I mean, you really can see how they're cleaned, and some areas they were just polished more than the others. And again, here you see something. What we have, you know, this spot here, this one here. But obviously, on this one, you push down only with this side of your hand. You push it down here, and that's why you don't reach. You always push it down with this side. You push it down, and you use the left hand side to lock the mechanism. So that's on the other side. It's just the opposite way. But I mean, that you can't get anything more original than that, and that is not because it is blend in. So I think that is maybe half the thickness of the paint, and we verify that now. So here is 60, and there's 55, and on the side where you never touch is 90. So that is here. It's just thinner, and that is because you were pushing down the bonnet on this end, and that is fantastic. I mean that tells a story. This is further down because the seal is the original, and it's worn. It's just sinking in. I just love this. I just love this. I'm just seeing something here that needs to be looked after. The rubber seals are missing here, and the same here. You see, these are just worn out, and that would be one of the first things I would replace. Get new rubbers in there, and then you avoid water going into the bulkhead and start to corrode. Ted said he's never driving this car in the rain. He's never bothering about the hood or the soft top. And let me see. It's 129, and let me see in the front. I wonder if they ever had 72, and I think they didn't put any clear coat in the areas. They didn't put any clear coat in the areas where you wouldn't see. So this is 90, and I guess one layer of filler clear coat or paint is about 50. And that is, we had that in the boot. They only had, or is the trunk floor, they only had 50 microns, and that is that tells me that they never had any clear coat in areas which you wouldn't see from the outside. He said he got the engine rebuilt, new pistons in here, the engine runs perfectly, and he got a new starter probably at the same time they did the engine. The original starter is coming with the car, it's still there, and that's a good thing. They didn't sell it just to recover some euro or dollars. You still have the big wing nuts here. So this is probably one of the most original cars you can find. You still have the original number plate. And what shall I say? This is, if you're into originality and don't mind the patina, this one here is 562, so that's about 6 months before production. That gives you an idea how far you need to go when you source another one if yours is missing. So there is the Cool Cat fan. That's my recommendation for all the cars. I have them on all my cars apart from the unrestored ones. And the original fan motor is coming in the box, and also that wheel, that pulley, is in the box for the water pump. The original is there. They replaced that just because they revised the engine, and that is what they do really. Even this is still there, unmolested. So the rubber. It still has the original early radiator, and so I was driving yesterday and we never exceeded temperature of 70 degrees, so that was surprising. And I figured out that most of the 3.8s, they all have no temperature issue. I think the radiators are just cooling a bit better. The 4.2 had more heat issues. Here you see still all the long nylon nuts, like on the early cars. That's interesting. So late 62 they still have them. That is good to know. You still have the original, the coarse thread bolt, and you see this washer, this spacer here, and there's another spacer here. I think that one should be in between there. So that's probably something they mixed up when they did the engine. So this is something we can learn about. So this is black here, the mechanism here. This is cut plated. Well, what more shall I say? That's the one. That's probably one of the most original E-types you can find. So thanks for watching.
I'll do it for him. I'll do it, okay?
It's coming.
Maybe it's dead.
No, it's coming. It's coming. The oil is a bit resisting, a bit dense.
I think the battery.
Wow.
Out too. The big, generator, but it's negative ground. But it's 6 volts. This is the fuel filter here. This is an oil bath. There's oil on the bottom. Oil bath air filter.
And this is water rolls.
Yeah, these are to fill the water. Run better.
What is it? Explode down the
This is the original body. It was just
What's in here?
These are ammunition
really?
cases.
Oh, for the gun.
And that fits up in here.
Yeah.
So you would, and then that holds it, and then the gun mounts here. And then these are toolboxes here. I actually just bought a. These are the original tools.
Really?
But I just bought a new sack for it.
Uh-huh.
Hold on, Willy. We'll show them that in a minute. Look at the screwdriver.
That's all you need.
Yeah.
It's not for setting the dizzy.
Yeah.
Here's another one.
That's the jack.
Oh yes.
Yeah. And then this lifts up like that. If you want to stand and
it's
man the
all
machine
functional,
gun.
all functional, basic, and
this is
you have these for the guy's feet if they're sitting back.
Oh
here.
yeah.
This is Daddy's spider.
Yeah, look, there's a squirrel. You can see the nuts. That's what all this dust is. This lifts up to be able to get in.
Great. Oh, this doesn't.
No, these are hip pads, you know.
Oh, yeah, when you go over the...
Yeah, then this is your seat belt.
But also works as a door.
That's your door.
How practical they are.
Yeah, very practical.
And basic.
Basic, easy to fix, 3-speed.
And this is folding down?
This folds down, yeah. So this, yeah, exactly.
Did you ever drive without? Why is that? Why is that you can fold it down? Is that when you go through the wood?
If you want to put stretchers or something on it, yeah, here. So this flips up. If you loosen that knob, that here, William, that lifts up here, and so you have this latch.
Okay, it's all functional.
Yeah. So it doesn't bounce.
Yeah.
And it even came with a canvas cover to cover. See, this is so you could put stretchers of wounded guys.
Oh, really?
Or you could go under things.
Yeah.
Because if this machine gun mount wasn't there, you could clear.
It's all flat. You can carry it, and you go. Yeah.
If you got your shovel, you have your axe on the side.
That's a nice car. Are you driving it?
All the time.
Really?
We take these to parades. Everybody loves these.
Yes.
It's patriotic.
So you're the gunner now, William?
Yep. Yeah. Be careful.
Wait up. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. So no. Oh, this is fun. This is real fun.
Looks like a Ferris wheel, honestly.
Yeah, a little bit.
Look at that.
Wow.
Coffee.